You are listening to the Run the Rack Outdoors podcast, where we take an all-in, leave no doubt approach to all things adventure hunting. From the big woods to the high country. How about that? Let's learn together as we discuss with our expert guests on what it takes to be successful in the backcountry. I'm your host, Weston Homa. Let's get into it. Go Hunt has a single purpose: make it easier for hunters to get into the field. Hunting tags are only getting harder to obtain, and Go Hunt is a research platform helping navigate the ins and outs of drawing tags and researching hunts across the West. I've had a Go Hunt membership for years now, and I'm a big fan of the articles written on there by Brady and Trail. The content is next level stuff that has helped me a ton. From animal behavior to archery, they are sharing all the nuggets. I also love the hunt films on YouTube. They are extremely inspirational, and they'll make you want to get out in the mountains ASAP. Check out the Go Hunt Gear Shop, where they have everything you need for this coming hunting season. Use the code RACK, that's R-A-C-K, for 10% off eligible items in the shop. And you can use the code RACK for $50 in-shop credit when you join as an insider. So sign up for a membership and immediately get $50 back toward hunting gear. Check it out, you won't regret it. Mountain Tough produces industry-leading functional fitness programming tested and proven by backcountry hunters and mountain athletes. Mountain Tough's programming allows users to train at home, at the gym, or on the go. These videos are like having a personal trainer right there with you every workout, wherever you are. Guys, I've been rocking the Mountain Tough workouts this past summer. I've been doing the mountain strength workouts as I'm putting on a ton of miles prepping for my 100-mile ultramarathon. This way, I'm going to be totally ready for hunting season once September comes around. There's also so much more video content on the app, including nutrition, yoga, mental health, and one of my personal favorites is the daily mobility. Use code RACK for 1 free month on the app. That's RACK, R-A-C-K, for 1 entire free month to try it out. Give it a look, and let's get Mountain Tough. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Run the Rack Outdoors podcast. So, little different episode this week. Going to jump right into it. So, this is going to be a full pack dump for, I got 2 hunts in September. The first one is high country mule deer in Colorado. We will be out there for 9 days, backpacking in, living off our back, and essentially that's what this pack dump is going to be. I'm going to go chase elk in Idaho after that, but that'll be a little bit more driving around, spiking out for a day or two, day hunt, just be a little bit more mobile, but wanted to do a full-on pack dump for a 9-day high country mule deer hunt, essentially. But both those hunts, I'll be using a lot of similar gear. So we'll jump right into it, but before I get started, I want to give a shout-out to Creek Archery. They are in Ruffsdale, Pennsylvania, so if you're around the Pittsburgh area, south of Pittsburgh, right off the Yukon exit, off 70, and definitely go check these guys out here. I'm upstairs in their studio where they record Broken Knock. That's their podcast, and definitely check that out as well. But this is where I get all my archery needs done. They really take care of their customers here. So, yeah, if you want to bring your bow in, look for a new bow, need any repairs or anything for hunting season coming up, definitely go check these guys out here in Ruffsdale, PA. So, thanks again, Creek Archery, and yeah, we'll get right into it here. So, all right, this is my framed hunting pack that I've been taking out west. So, this is a Kifaru. I really only have ever owned a Kifaru. This is the frame, the hip belt, and the bags, which the bags are interchangeable. I have 2 bags, smaller bag for like day or just overnight spiking out hunting. I use that to also hunt whitetails here in Pennsylvania. That's the Striker XL. This is the Ma Deuce, so this is the bigger expedition-style pack. I think all in here, it's 7,900 cubic inches of space, and that does include the side zipper pouches as well. And then I got some belt pouches on the front. That's like an accessory thing, and I got one on the hip, so I guess that adds a little bit more to that as well. So it's always kind of a good rule of thumb, that number of cubic inches per day. So I'd say, yeah, if you're going beyond 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 days, you want to get something at least in the 7,000 cubic inch range. So that's where we're at here, and I got plenty of room. I will be putting some more stuff in here before I go. For example, and this is where we'll start, I guess. We'll open up the main compartment here. bino harness. I'll save that for the end, but we'll just start with food. So right now I got one food bag in here, and this is what a day of food looks like on the mountain. So I'm not the guy that invented this. This is a very popular thing to do now, though, but I think it is the best system. So basically what you want to do is gallon Ziploc bag. Each one of these bags will be just one whole day of food. So it seems like there's two types of people on the mountain. There's people who have a hard time eating. Maybe it's the altitude or just all the physical exertion, or maybe there's people that just eat a lot. I feel like I usually don't have a problem eating up there, but you want to make sure you're getting your calories in every single day because you're exerting a ton of effort. And if you're going beyond, I'd say like 5, 6, 7 days, that's when I start to notice too that no matter how much you're eating, you really start to feel that burn kind of catch up. So it's really important. Every day, my goal is to make sure I eat everything in this bag. So I'm probably going to be around 3,000 calories for the day. I actually have like one more bar I'm going to throw in here. And this is essentially what it looks like. I mean, just at a high level here. In the morning, I like oatmeal and one of these big MedRx bars. They're like 400 calories. I got some jerky and some nuts in here. For lunch, I have another bag in here that's like a big mix of like a scoop of whey protein, some granola, some dried fruit, some more nuts, and like things like that. I'll just add cold water to it. And then for dinners, I bought a huge order of them because I think I'm hunting I got like 22 food bags made between hunting mule deer in Colorado, then elk in Idaho. So yeah, 22, 24 days in the field or something like that this September. I am beyond stoked. But I bought a lot of these meals here on Point Adventures. They're local to Pennsylvania. I like supporting local business when I can, and they make really good dehydrated foods. So go check them out. This one here is chicken Alfredo. It's pretty good. And yeah, that's essentially food. What else? Little things in here. Honey stinger. And then like drink mixes. So I got my coffee packet for the morning. I throw in electrolytes. So an Element, 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Definitely will help out there. And then I like to throw in those packets of Celsius. So it's 200 milligrams of caffeine for like an afternoon pick-me-up. Really like to bring those. So that's food. And then we'll have 9 days, and that's including the pack in and pack out. So one of those food bags is going to be like for an evening and a morning. So 8 total food bags. That's what I'll stuff in here, and that's what one of them looks like. So maybe I'll do another video diving more into food. We can just jump right into clothing here. So I want to preface with some of this stuff is expensive. So I think there's some things that I would save up on, spend the money, buy once, cry once. Other things I think I found over the years you can get away with. So I'll do my best here to kind of like differentiate between the two. And I'm just going to make sure I kind of take everything out here. And again, a lot of this is stuff I've accumulated over time. So don't feel like you need absolutely everything if you're going out for the first time. Maybe just pick up 1 or 2 really quality pieces. And then again, guys, you can get by on a lot of stuff. You don't need to break the bank for all this gear. So this will be kind of my first layer. And this is the Sitka Core Light Crew. And it's with the hood. So it's a synthetic base, but pretty much this is what I'll just be rocking in all day. I really like the hood to keep the sun off you. I mean, guys, that, especially if you're coming from back east or down south for the first time, that mountain sun can really get to you on those long glassing sessions. So try to recommend getting in the shade. Glassing tarp, not a bad idea, but definitely get something with a hood for your base layer. So that's the Sitka piece there. Something that I think really works well that doesn't break the bank. These are my favorite pants, and like my whole family has been buying these for years now. So you go to Walmart, we can find them online. Wrangler all-terrain pants. So I think they used to be $20. They might be like $25 or $30 now. I actually just picked up this pair, but they are just a great lightweight hiking pant. I mean, are they going to last you 7 or 8 hunting seasons? Like probably not, but just for the money, to get you out there. I think they're great, and honestly, this is like what I'm going back to here. So Wrangler all-terrain pants. So just a good lightweight hiker that'll do just fine. Rain gear. So I did upgrade a rain jacket this year to another Sitka piece. So I got the Sitka Dew Point system. This is the jacket. And I am just a fan of a lot of Sitka's pieces here. The Sitka jacket, the Dew Point jacket, and these are the Dew Point pants, which I've had already. The jacket will be the first fall I'm using that. So what I like about the Dew Point is it's super lightweight. So as you can see, I got my pack loaded down, and everything's all stuffed in there. And this rain gear, it's quality. It's going to keep me dry. It's not like some big, heavy rain gear that you might take up to like Kodiak Island or somewhere up in, the NWT or something like that. Like, don't need all that. Just need some lightweight rain gear to stuff in your pack. And then, if a storm rolls in up on the mountain, it'll keep you dry. So that's all you kind of need there. This is now, so we talked about the base layer, that Sitka Core Light Crew. This is now what I call it a mid layer, but really this active insulation. So this is a Sitka Ambient jacket. And guys, I will say, I don't know, I'm not saying this has to be your first big expenditure for clothing, but I really do like this jacket. So had this the last couple falls now. And the whole point of the Sitka Ambient active insulation piece is, so in the morning, it's going to be cold. Yeah, it's early September in Colorado. It might even get up to like upper 70s, 80 degrees during the day, but it might get into the upper 30s. I mean, actually, the unit I'm going to, I elk hunted last year, and there was a couple mornings where my water would be kind of like froze over a little bit. Not totally solid, but definitely tells me when you're up there, it's getting in the 30s. So making the hike up to the glassing spot or wherever you got to be in the morning might be a little cold, so I'm always going to just keep that base layer on, and then this I'll rock as I'm hiking, and the whole point of this is keep me warm enough as I'm hiking, and then when I get to my glassing spot, I'm throwing on my puffy jacket. So I'm just a huge fan of a puffy jacket, and I would say out of all clothing systems, the first place I'd actually spend money would be the puffy jacket. So this is the Kafaru Lost Park Parka. I've had this for like the last 4 or 5 years. I've been going out west, and I bring with me all the time. This might even be a little overkill for an early September hunt, like 30 degrees. Like I've used this all the way down to late season rifle hunts in Colorado. It is like an oven, but I see this as like an emergency item essentially. Your quality puffy jacket. Like if shit really hits the fan, if you get really cold, if you get really wet too, that's why I'm a fan of this being synthetic. It'll keep you dry and wick some moisture away. And I'm not against down. Down is super lightweight. It's great for an early season hunt. But, oh man, the confidence this can give you, it might not pack down as much. It might not be super light. But when I have this, I know I'm good, even if I even don't make it back to camp. It's that warm, and that's why I'm a big fan of a really good puffy jacket. So that is clothing, and yes, I do essentially wear the same thing every single day. Let's try to get a little organized here. And if you're listening on audio and want to watch this on video, I have the videos on Spotify, so you can watch it through there, but also have the full-length podcast episodes. I do this for each and every one. I put them on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Weston Homa. So you can see everything visually as I go through it here. But I think this would just be good for a podcast too. You can listen to, and then maybe go back later and look at all the pieces of gear. So wrapping up clothing, this is outside of what I just showed you, all I take extra. So I like to keep my little gloves and beanie just in this belt pouch on the outside of my pack just for quick access. So I got these liner gloves from Outdoor Research. I have like bigger, warmer, waterproof gloves from Outdoor Research, and I'll actually bring both when I'm doing like a late season hunt or something super cold, and I'll run the liners inside those big gloves. But these gloves here, they're just a lightweight liner glove, just keep you kind of warm enough, and I just like to throw these in my pack just for that morning glass
not super necessary, should be all right. And then socks. So what I do is I'll wear a pair of socks in and a pair of underwear, and then I'll bring a backup of each just because sometimes I really don't need it. Honestly, I really don't care. Guys even are big on, like, they'll spend a bunch of money on good merino boxers that don't stink. I really don't care. I will just bring a backup pair of underwear just because I guess, mentally after 5 or 6 days or so, it does feel good to just change. But I'll just throw these in because they're super lightweight. But this is another pair that I'll be wearing in. And I don't know, guys, these are just a pair of Reebok synthetic briefs underwear. They don't kind of like pinch or anything. And yeah, I got these on Amazon super cheap for like probably $12 for a 3-pack a couple years ago. I don't know. They do just fine. Do I end up stinking a little bit? Yeah, but like I said, I'm not going to justify spending $60, $70 on a good pair of merino boxers when I'm not really up there to impress anybody. So that's just my opinion, but that's what I wear. Socks, I really like these lightweight, darn tough socks, so I have another pair. This is just a different color here, but if you go to Darn Tough and they have a bunch of different socks. This is just the lightweight hiker, I believe. Really good socks there. Again, I'll wear a pair in. I always throw a backup pair in for a long hunt just because, like, feet get wet. I don't know, want to change socks. It's always good to air your feet out when you can and just have a backup pair. But that's it. Like, I'm not bringing any other clothes. I'm wearing those Wrangler pants the entire 9 days. I'm sleeping in them. I'm hunting in them. I'm quartering animals in them. I'm getting them bloody. I'm going back to sleep in them. I don't care. Same thing with that base layer, all that stuff. Really find that don't need extra clothes other than that. And then just a beanie. So I like to sleep in a beanie, morning glass, like to glass in a beanie. Just keeping that head warm helps keep the whole body warm there. So that's clothing. One other thing I'll say here before I keep moving. I feel like I see a lot of guys ask questions or they start looking at gear for maybe their first trip. They're just kind of getting into it. And they're listening to podcasts or watching pack dumps or watching so-and-so. And they're not tailoring the content they're consuming to the hunt that they're actually going on. So I'm not saying, don't watch that stuff. Obviously, I've consumed so much content to learn all this stuff, and I still do. I still crank out podcasts and stuff all the time, and I hope people find value in this one. What I'm saying is, if you have, for example, a late November, late season elk tag in Montana, please do not think that this is the clothing that you need and all of the gear that you need when you're watching a video here that's somebody about to go hunt early September Colorado archery mule deer. Not the same. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be pieces of gear in here that would work for both hunts, but, just make sure the content you're listening to and the gear you're going to buy when you're listening to so-and-so, whoever, it's tailored to your hunt, and get a good understanding of what their hunt is, what they're using for that hunt, and then tailor your kit to your hunt. So just wanted to throw that out there and make sure, because that's important. I feel like, people, I've heard people on podcasts say, oh, I always take this piece of gear for my elk hunting, or I always take, all I need is like a lightweight jacket for my elk hunting. Obviously, that guy might be talking about early season archery. If you have, like I said, a late November, late season rifle tag in Montana, that's just not for you. Nothing's right. That's not wrong. Not saying it right. Just make sure you're tailoring your kit to your hunt. So just wanted to throw that in there. I think that's important. Moving on. We'll finish out these belt pouches here then, I guess. So on the other things I keep on the outside in those belt pouches here, this is a rain fly, just super lightweight. Kafaru makes it. So if it starts pouring down rain, we get caught in a storm, I like to just throw this on the pack. I've so many trips, I'm always just hesitant to throw this in there. Do I really need it? But time and time again, I find myself up on the mountain, whether I'm either hiking and I'm getting rained on, or I'm sitting there glassing and I'm getting rained on. I'm using my rain gear to keep myself dry. I'm using maybe, everything else I have to keep me dry. And it's just nice throwing this in here, this fly, to keep your pack and all your gear dry too, especially if that rain is coming in like right in the evening and then everything's going to get cold. Sure, a little bit of rain like in the morning during the day, then it gets 80 degrees and sunny, dry yourself out. It's no big deal. But it's just something nice to have because I've also used this, I feel like, for a ton of other things, like just to keep the shade off me, just to keep the shade off other stuff. I don't know. I feel like it's just a multi-use thing, so I bring that. And then I keep this on the outside of my pack too. So got some wipes, got a little roll of toilet paper here, and then I throw a little bottle of hand sanitizer in here, honestly. I mean, going to the bathroom, you're out there for 9 days. It doesn't hurt to just put that on your hands and take care of your hygiene a little bit before, you go to the bathroom and then you go eat your snacks or eat dinner. So I bring a little hand sanitizer and then just these wipes. I feel like I had a hard time for a long time finding like a good wipe that does the job, that's also biodegradable and like even hunter friendly too. I don't know the guy that runs these or whatever, but I've seen these pop up also in like the trail running world. Bare butt wipes just seems like a really good brand to me. I've been using them like trail running, just keep them in my vest and using them out there. So totally biodegradable. They're hunter friendly and they do the job. So good there. And then I keep a water filter on the outside of my pack as well. And I'll show you kind of like the water system I have here. So here's what I do. I keep, if you can see me right now, so I have this belt pouch on my hip. And this is where I keep my stair pen. So this is the Stair Pen Classic 3. And I got this from Aaron Snyder. This is the system that he does to get water. And I do think it is the most fast and efficient way to get water. First couple years I started going out west and hunting elk, getting water was the biggest chore because I had this squeeze bottle that barely worked. I had to like take my pack off. I had to take out all my bags, like dirty bag, clean bag. It was a whole effort. And I'm telling you right now, it's not hard getting it in the first few days, but when you're already tired and you haven't seen any elk and you're dehydrated and you're on your way back to camp and it's dark and you haven't drank water all day and you know you need water for dinner and in the morning, and the whole idea of stopping and having it take you an hour to get your dromedary bag or camel bladder, whatever you want to call it, filled up, it just sounds horrible. So I like to always have good systems. So whatever's fast and efficient and doesn't make me stop for like an hour, that's what I want to do. So what I do, keep this stair pen right on my hip here, and then I keep an Nalgene bottle on the other side of my hip. So when I'm going to get water, and it could be, midday and my Nalgene's empty and I come across the creek, I go over to the creek with my Nalgene, scoop up that dirty water in there, and then I hit it with this stair pen. If you're listening on audio, I'm turning it on right now. You basically stick this pen down in the Nalgene, spin it around for about 90 seconds, the light will go off, and then your water is clean. So obviously that doesn't get out the fines. It's just UV light, and then I guess breaks up the DNA of all the bacteria. I've never gotten sick. I haven't had a problem with it before. I'm comfortable with it. That's just what works for me. Guys can do whatever they want to do. Also, I keep a 4-liter dromedary bag just kind of hooked in the back of my pack here, and then like maybe I'll leave this at camp, or I don't know, take it with me, whatever I feel like I want to do. But I'll top this off as soon as we get to camp. We start setting up camp. So 4 liters right here. That's like around about a gallon. This is from MSR. It's the Drom Light, 4 liters. And that's what I'll rock with. So I won't pack any water in. Water's pretty heavy. I'll just fill up that Nalgene, and I'm already going in super fueled and hydrated already. I don't feel like I really need to. I can make it to camp. And then from there, we'll find water, and I'll top that off. And then I do bring a backup way to get water. So I used to have the Cat Be Free. I don't know if they stopped making them or what was going on, but I just bought this recently. So it's is this 32 ounces? I think so. They had a smaller one and a bigger one. So from Life Straw, it's kind of the same deal as that Cat Be Free. So I've used this a few times, just trail running too. So I know it works good. I like having this as well because the stair pen system, I'm dipping that Nalgene in a creek, and I kind of need running water to do that. So a creek's good for that. But if I just have stagnant water, it's kind of tough to top that off and do that system. I mean, I'd make it work, but I like having a different system to get water in the chance that it's not a creek, it's just like a stagnant pool of water, and then I can, and when it's that, I'd rather have something like a filter to make sure I'm getting the fines out. So I'll fill this bottle up, and then I'll put the filter on here, and then this is just a squeeze. Again, that stagnant water might have just some stuff that I don't want just directly in my Nalgene. More comfortable with running water through that. So if it's something stagnant, I'll use this and squeeze water out that way, and then that's how I'll get water if I see a stagnant pool of water versus like a creek. But always good, I find, to have two ways to get water. Also, the fact too, like this one runs on batteries. As long as you rock the lithium, if you can find them, I've never had a problem with this. Sometimes I like to keep it in my sleeping bag because batteries just suck when they get cold. So if I remember, I'll put this in the sleeping bag with me. But, it's electronics. I like to have a non-electronic way, a backup way to get water. So that's why I rock both these. I also have aqua tabs in my med kit, which I can show you later. And those are just little pills. You drop them in your dromedary bag, and then it's written on there. I think don't quote me, look into it if you do it. If you drop one tab for 4 liters and you wait 30 minutes, something like that. So that's the ultimate fail-safe, and those weigh nothing. They're just like these little pills, and I have a few of those in my med kit as well. So that's water. Keep going here. Got some face paint for mule deer because why not? You got to look cool, especially when you're going in on a stalk. Here's a med kit. I won't go too crazy on this, but I kind of like make my own. I bought this bag from like a pre-made kit years ago, and then I've just been like using the bag. But just real quick here, got some moleskin, a bunch of Band-Aids, different sizes, a tourniquet. I got this, and then this orange Slishman pressure wrap from Uncharted Supply. I thought this was really good too if you get a real bad cut and you're putting some gauze on there and stuff. Probably would be a pain in the ass to do it in a way that like you'd have to keep it tight with like a safety pin, but this pressure wrap you can wrap up and then it kind of velcros and locks in, so it's pretty neat. But I don't know, I'll just kind of throw in some Tylenol, some ibuprofen, some Benadryl in a bag. Again, lots of like gauze and Band-Aids. I have an emergency blanket in here and antibiotic. I think I got some Neosporin in here as well. So just things like that. I can definitely answer more questions on it, but I won't go too far into it. I found these like sting relief pads. I'm going to put that on there, or just threw a couple of those in there. They don't weigh much. Then Quick Clot. So got a little 2-foot pack of that in here as well. So that's that. I'm still going to probably go through this one more time to make sure I just have everything before I go. Put in some extra ibuprofen and stuff like that. But that's a good tip too. Just make sure before you're going out on a hunt, go through your med kit. Just make sure nothing's expired. Everything is like topped off and good to go. Don't have it with me, but on the top of like med kit and safety, because I think I left it at home. I was activating it today. I have a Garmin InReach Explorer. It's the bigger one that you kind of type with. They also have the mini. I like that Explorer. I think that was just the first one I bought. I think if I do it all again, I'd get the mini. I think that's all you need. But if you guys don't know either, and I've used this a couple times, I did it spring bear hunting, but if you have an iPhone and you don't have service, you can do iMessage through SOS. So it'll pop up and you connect to the satellite and you point it up to the sky. And I tested it a few times. I did a weekend backpack trip in the spring just to like run all my gear. I went and hunted Idaho spring bear and tested that out. I was texting back home and messages came pretty quick. So I'm still taking my InReach. Wow, okay, sorry about that, guys. Everything looks different because I went for over an hour and the video cut out after 30 minutes. So now I'm going to go back through and redo the last half hour. So I think I already nailed water and first aid and clothing and the pack, obviously. So I'll move that to the side. If I end up repeating myself, I apologize. All right, we'll jump right into Possibles pouch / kill kit, whatever you want to call it. So here is what that looks like. I have my battery banks that I'll put in here, and I'll show those off real quick. So Anchor, well, I'll start with the solar panel first since I'm going into electronics. So this Anchor PowerPort solar panel. So it's pretty nice. I've been using it the last couple years. The only thing about this solar panel, though, is like you can't open it up and leave it out in the dark like when you wake up in the morning. It has to like hit the sun first to turn on. So it's got to be all folded up, and the sun has to be out, so you have to like bring it with you. And then open it up, let the sun hit it, close it up, and then when you open it back up, this little light will turn on inside here. And then that's how you know it's on. And then it's got 2 USB ports in here, and you can charge what you need to charge. It works pretty good. I've liked it. It's definitely something. It's better than nothing up there. And it doesn't hold a charge itself, if that makes sense. It's just charging other things. So it'll charge your battery banks, and I'll show those here because I'll keep these in my possibles pouch, kill kit, whatever you want to call it. I kind of put everything in the same little pouch here. So I have a bigger Anchor block. I'm not sure the MHA, whatever it's called, but this gives like 4 or 5 charges in it to like an iPhone. If you have any questions on this, reach out and I will look into it and get back to you. I just forgot to look at it before I hit record here. And what I'll do too is, guys, because I like to film these hunts. If you haven't checked them out yet, they're on my YouTube. I actually have another little power bank. You can probably just get by with a bigger one if you're going for a week or so. But I like to charge. I got my camera batteries and things like that. I'm always taking pictures and videoing, so I just like to have an extra one on me, more or less as a backup too. And also make sure I have all the charging cords as well. I just don't have those in here yet. But this is not, I don't even know the brand, just something really cheap. Just holds like maybe 2 charges to an iPhone, but it's super lightweight, so that's why I throw that in here too, more so just as a backup. We'll just talk headlights here real quick, because what I'll do is I'll put one in the pouch kind of towards the top of my Kafaru pack, and this is my primary one. So this is the Peak Backcountry Duo. I really like this headlight, so kind of got to hold the button, turn it on. White light comes on, and then you can toggle through. So dimmer white, and then you have your reds. And then what's really nice about this too, so when you go turn it off, you got to hold it. Then it's off. But if you hold this down when it's off, you get that blinking light, and that's like a lock on this headlight. So if this button gets pressed when it's in your pack or whatever, it won't come on. So that's really nice, because I've definitely accidentally had a headlight come on in the pack, and then when you go to use it, battery's dead, and that kind of sucks. But really like that headlight. It's pretty bright. And then as a backup light, and I feel like when I first started hunting the West, I knew I wanted like a backup light, in my possibles pouch. But I'd just bring like a little flashlight or something like that. But then I was thinking, like, why would I do that? Why would I not just have a backup headlight? Because if I'm quartering up an animal and that headlight, my primary one, goes out or it breaks or I lose it or something, I want to be hands-free. So backup light is always another headlight for me, and this is just one that's super light that I can keep as a backup. It's made by Phoenix HM23. I don't know, I use it a lot like when I trail run and stuff, because it's really light and it works pretty good. So going through here too, so this is a knife. This is just a fixed blade knife from Gerber. Really like just having that. And I've used replaceable blade knives as well, and I think it's great. I just feel better having a fixed blade knife. Sometimes I'll even put maybe even a backup knife like in my pants pocket or something. But just having a fixed blade, knowing that like that's not going to break. Not that I've ever had one break. But it's just nice knowing a fixed blade knife is what your go-to is. And I'll bring like a little sharpener here. I could probably find a smaller one or more compact one, but this is a work sharp knife sharpener. So that's just nice to do as you're going through cutting up an animal, just to have. Some 550 cord, little mini toothbrush and toothpaste. I kind of keep this on the outside here. And then I like to keep what I call my emergency caffeine. So usually, because I have a caffeine addiction, like I throw one of these in my Mule bags per day, and I put this in my kill kit too, because if I have a long night quartering up an animal, packing it out to camp, whatever, I'm going to want one of these. So I throw this emergency stick of another one of these Celsius packets in here. Also going through here, I got a lighter, extra double A batteries. These are the Energizer lithiums. Really good to back up my SteriPen with. Got some matches. And then this is cotton balls soaked in Vaseline. So the little container I have here, I just got this from buying like flies from a fly fishing store. So they give you that little plastic container to put the flies in when you buy them. That works just as good. Guys like to use an old dip can or whatever, so you can do that. But yeah, cotton balls soaked in Vaseline, great little cheap homemade fire starter. And then I throw an extra buckle strap in here, so that's how this Kifaru pack kind of all works. And this is nice to have too when I'm like loading quarters on the frame. If I just need another strap, I can just clip this on and do that real good. Just good to have a backup one as well. And then a little patch kit. So Gear Aid, so it has like some Tenacious tape patches on here, and also some Aqua Seal in case, pop a sleeping pad or something like that. I always just like to have that in my kit. Other little things. See, I got a mess here now because I'm having to re-record, but that's all right. Okay, 2 little things here. Little thing of sunscreen can save you when you're out there, guys. If you're coming from back east or down south and you haven't been out west yet, when you're up in the mountains, especially archery hunting that early season, that sun will kill you. So a little bit of sunscreen can go a long way. Chapstick too. I find that especially in like later season hunts, I like to have chapstick because lips can get chapped pretty bad. So I like to always have that on me too. Something cheap, do it yourself. I think this was like $12 on Amazon. Just got this recently, set it up. See how it works. I just couldn't really justify spending like whatever $200 almost for a glassing tarp. But we'll see how this works. Cheap tarp, like I said, from Amazon. I got some extra tent stakes in here, and then I ran about a few feet of 550 cord, tied one to each of the ends on the one side, and then kind of had it set up at my house, just practicing around with the trekking pole in the middle. So I'll use this to glass with. Also nice just having a cheap tarp on you. So let you know how that goes. That's my cheap glassing tarp setup. We'll move on to cooking. So I got 2 little of the fuel canisters here, but really I'm only going to need 1. I got 2 in here because I'm bringing 1 for my hunting partner. He's flying in. You cannot fly on a plane with these. So I got you, Dan. Don't worry. That's your extra fuel canister there. And this is my cooking setup. So MSR Pocket Rocket. I've tried a few different stoves over the years, Jetboil. I got that MSR reactor too. I really like, but it's a lot bigger. This Pocket Rocket just all folds up and folds out like this, and that's what I'm going to use to heat up water. And then I'll put that hot water in my cup for coffee in the morning. I'll use it for my dinner at night, so the hot water goes in that dehydrated or freeze-dried meal, and that's how I do dinner. And then so you light this. Heats up your water. I use this tin cup. I don't even know, Vulcan. Not even sure where I got this, but super lightweight little cup. And that's how I'll boil water out there. But yeah, Pocket Rocket, really good lightweight stove, and cannot complain with it. Really like it. This fork spoon setup I've had for literally like 5 or 6 years. I think I bought this at REI for a couple bucks, and it's never failed me. Like, guys have the long metal spoons or whatever. If that works for you, that's great. I don't care. But like, I got a fork and a spoon here. They fold together. And then when I need that long length, because, everybody knows how you dig up your dehydrated food. You got to get, into the corners and stuff. Just goes together, and it's long there. So, yeah, really nice little item here that I've had for a long time, and I just throw it right in the dishwasher when I get home. So that's cooking. Let's go into, all right, so meat bags. So these are the Kifaru game bags. I used a couple times last year. I've had cheap game bags in the past. I mean, you can get away. It all depends on what you're hunting. You can get away with them if you're just like packing out your whitetail or something. You're packing out close to your truck. Some cheap ones, but I had let some deboned meat hang in some cheap bags. Maybe I overloaded the bags a little bit, but they did start to tear. And from then on out, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy some more durable, more quality game bags. So now I have the elk kit from Kifaru. Probably won't take every bag for the deer hunt, but yeah, those will be good. we can move into sleep system. This out of the way. All right, we got for shelter, Stone Glacier Sky Air. So this is their what they call their bivy setup, but it's just their single man setup, and I really like it. It's super lightweight. I mean, this will be the first hunting season, so I can't give a full review yet, but set it up, super lightweight. Seems like it's going to work well. I've been rocking that Hilleberg Nyack the last couple years, and that's great. Super durable. I feel like I'm in a bomb-proof shelter in there, and that's really comforting and makes you sleep really easy at night. It's marketed as a 2-man, but it'd be pretty tight for 2 guys. If you're just like a single man, or if you just want to rock a single man to put all your gear into, I really recommend that tent. It's really nice, but I can save about 2 pounds going to this system. So this is the whole shelter right here versus that Nyack. That was a lot bigger, and that was a little over 3 pounds, but I think I'm a little over a pound here. So excited to rock that this year. Sleeping bag. So this is a 20-degree bag from Marmot. I only own a couple sleeping bags. I really think you can get away with, you don't need this $700 hydrophobic down. If you're just starting out, you just want to get in the game. I've always say though, I'm not telling anybody what to do. If you're a man of means and you want to ball out, go for it. But just a good sleeping bag here. Like I said, 20-degree bag. We're probably going to look at temps because I've been in this unit before. I kind of there last year, and I'd wake up some mornings where water wasn't completely froze in my Nalgene, but it was starting to glaze over. So I guess we're getting down in the 30s a little bit, but knowing that, I like a 20-degree bag. So don't forget, your sleeping bag rating is probably the lower limit of the bag. What's going to be comfortable for you is probably going to be like 8 to 10 to 12 degrees higher than that rating. So just keep that in mind. Everybody runs a little warmer or colder when they're sleeping out overnight. I just know for me, when temps get down in the 30s, I'm grabbing a 20-degree bag. And then, I got my clothes and stuff. And worst case, I usually do sleep in my puffy jacket and a beanie. I'm more than good. So it's a synthetic bag. I just if I know I'm going for days and days on end, I don't really know the temperatures. I don't know how much rain I'm going to get or whatever. I'm just pro synthetic. That way I don't have to worry about anything. Also, too, if your socks get wet or something like that, you can just stuff it in the bottom of the bag, wake up, and kind of dries it out. So synthetic bags will wick all that moisture, and I'm just a fan of them. So this is a Marmot. Like I said, I'm not sure if they make this model anymore, but it says weight right here, 2 pounds, 6 ounces. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can look for something to save a little bit there, but it's been working for me, and I'm going to keep rocking it. Sleeping pad. So this is the Thermarest Neo Air X Lite. R value is about 4.5. So I found this to be a very good happy medium. I'd love to own, a bunch of different sleeping pads and have one for hot weather, super cold weather. But honestly, I've taken this backpacking in the summer for on those warm nights. I've taken this out late season Colorado where temps got close to 0 degrees and have rocked this with a good 0-degree bag, wearing all my clothes, and been totally fine. So if you're looking for just one sleeping pad, not saying, go whatever brand you want to go with, but when we're looking at that R value, which is that heat retention value, that R4 or so is a good happy medium that should cater to a lot of different trips as long as you're not in the extreme cold or what have you. But that's worked well for me, like I said, even on those late season hunts. So also, I'll bring a little pillow. So this is a Sea to Summit Arrows pillow, ultra light. I've done a bunch of trips without a pillow. After just a few days, though, it's just something nice to have. And that way your neck's not flaring up or whatever, and it's super lightweight. So I throw it in the pack, especially for these longer trips. I've definitely used balled up a jacket before as a pillow, but I bring it now, and I like it for these longer trips. All right, we'll move into optics and start with the binos here. Actually, no. We'll start with the spotting scope, head, and tripod. So, again, got to cater your gear to your hunt. So, high country mule deer, a lot of glassing and stuff in the mornings. That's what we'll be doing, a lot of the day. So, going to want a spotting scope. Or guys, they run their binos on tripods for sure. But either way, whatever you end up doing, just try to make sure you're getting something on a tripod where it's sturdy. I think a lot of guys from back east or, down south, whatever, first time out west, they make the mistake of when they're glassing, they're kind of just holding their binos with their hands and that's it. Got to have something steady on a tripod. It's going to make everything just stick out a lot easier. You're going to have a lot easier time glassing, and it's also going to make it easier on you physically to glass more, because that's the key. Like, you're not going to find anything unless you're behind the glass. Face has to be buried in the spotter. At least that's what I tell myself out there. So you want to make it easy on yourself and be comfortable. I rock a Swarovski 65. This is a 25 to 50 wide, and I like this 65 size because I feel like I'm gaining a lot. I can see a lot, but it's also not super heavy in the pack. So when I'm living off my back like this hunting trip, I just prefer it versus guys like to carry bigger glass 95s and so forth. Those are just a little heavier. So it's all about is it worth it or not? But that 65, the 65 size, really feel comfortable with. And digiscoping setup, so on glass. Really like these guys. I know a couple of the guys. They're out of Boise, Idaho, so all veteran-owned, made right there in Boise. So go check them out. I really like the setup here. So this piece goes on spotting scope here, and they make one for all different spotting scopes and binoculars, whatever you're rocking. And then this little mag tab goes on the back here, just glues on. It's got a magnet, and then spotting scope set up, magnet just goes right on there, and then that's how that works for digiscoping. So that's how I like to get a lot of my good video when I'm looking at critters through the spotter. And yeah, definitely go check those guys out if you're in the market for a digiscoping setup that's on glass. So tripod and head. So I got this used off Rockslide because Outdoorsman's, they make some high quality stuff. It's not cheap, but found a good deal on Rockslide. Guy was selling it, so picked it up. This is the compact tripod from them. I think it's the max height's 36 inches. So no, this isn't one where I'm going to be standing and glassing. That's just not, again, the catering to the hunt that I'm doing. Glassing high country mule deer, I'm going to be sitting all day, so I wanted something compact and light, so that's why I got this one. Sets up here. A lot of these tripods have the turn locks or, kind of the latches here. I think guys all have their preferences. I just like the idea of the latches. I just feel like that's probably just going to be a little bit more durable. But that's just my opinion. So everybody's got what they like, and that's my setup here. And then I run a Tricer LP pan head. Again, with heads, there's pan heads and ball heads. I just really like the idea of a pan head, so that's what I rock here. And this Tricer LP head, I really like how it adjusts. I really like how lightweight it is. That's what I've been rocking, and that's my setup for optics. Well, we'll go right here to the bino harness real quick. So binoculars, these are nothing special. These are Vortex Diamondbacks 10x42s. I really like the 10x42 size just from being somebody from back east that kind of wants like a one size kind of fits all. I think if I did was just all Western hunting, I'd probably rock 12s. If I was only worried about whitetails, maybe I'd even drop down to 8s. But 10s, small enough for the whitetails, like in stand. I don't feel like, it's too big. But then it does what I need to do when I'm out there, and I just want to throw the binos up out west. So I rock 10s, and got my rangefinder on here. This is Vortex Impact 1000. So again, nothing special here, but has been doing the job. And then with that rangefinder, what I like to do, it just gives me that peace of mind. Keep a extra battery for your rangefinder in your pouch. If your rangefinder dies and you got a few more days left of the hunt, it can be a little bit upsetting. So I always like to keep an extra rangefinder battery in my pouch here. Also a lens wipe. So I just keep this in here because a lot of mornings, spotter, your binos are going to fog up or you're breathing on them, like that condensation. So it's always just nice to have a little lens wipe at the ready. I keep my windicator on the right side. And then I also got some milkweed down in here too, actually. Yeah, so I use that there. And then I got an Allen set on the left side here. I'll either keep it here or keep it in my little bow backcountry repair kit, which I'll go over here next. But yeah, that is the bino harness setup. This is the marsupial gear, no mag bino harness. I think, bino harnesses are bino harnesses. I think, this one's comfortable. It's been holding up good. I got the no mag, no magnet style. So I like it. It's quiet. I like how it folds back in, and my binos don't like fall out the flap here. So, no, it's been working good for me. Then I keep my release in there too, but I'll go over weapons here in a little bit. Yeah, so then I'll jump right to bow field repair kit, and then we're almost done. So in here, I'll keep a backup release. I will keep some serving, some D-loop material, some extra nocks, just because, and I'll keep a field point in here too if I need to just, recheck my sight again while I'm up on the mountain. Extra nocks, drop your bow. Nocks are on the outside here, break a knock or two, just something lightweight, just throw in there. I'll actually carry, I threw even a little peep sight in here and this little tool that will split your strings to tie in a new peep sight. And I got everything marked on here too, just in case, worst case scenario, you need to do that. And I'm not saying I'm an expert at tying in peep sights or anything, but what I do is I keep videos of stupid stuff like that on my phone if I just need a little refresher, just how to tie like those knots and stuff. And that's what I'll do. So if I really need to tie another D-loop in the backcountry back there or tie another peep sight on, hopefully I never have to, but I'm prepared and I got a little walkthrough video on my phone. I have no shame in saying that. I'd rather just have that and be able to tie that in and keep hunting if I need to. But that's just a little tip, and that's just something I've done over the years. So, but that's my little backcountry archery repair kit. I might go through this again one more time before I leave here in a couple days, just to make sure I'm not missing anything else I might think I need. But we'll move to weapon here, last couple minutes. So this is the Hoyt Venom Pro 30. So this came out, I think, in 2021, 2022. I bought it new at the time, and I've just kept rocking it. So this bow's, it's a shooter. Really liked it the last couple years. Put a few critters on the ground last year, and just really good setup. Got new strings on it this past winter, and I intend to keep using it. So for a sight, I got the black gold dual track slider. So it's 2 pins, vertical stack. Hey, guys like more pins. Some guys like single pins. Some guys horizontal, vertical, whatever works for you. But I just really like the vertical 2-pin setup, and going to keep rocking that for right now. Rest, QAD, drop away, micro adjust. It's been working just fine. I really like how this is set up to micro adjust for tuning and stuff. No issues there. Really like that rest. Tight spot 2-piece quiver I got set up on here. And then arrows. So Black Eagle Rampages 204s. I like to be around, my arrow weight right now is about 428, 427. So I know that sounds pretty light. I do pull back 70 pounds on this thing, but I'm a little vertically challenged, as they say. I got a short draw length, so I was rocking like 26 and a half, and then actually switching to the hinge, which I'll show here, I actually dropped it down to 26. So that shorter draw length, I got a lighter arrow set up, but I still have had good success. I got pass-throughs on the elk, bear, and buck I shot last year, and I don't think I'm going to change the setup at all. I got a three Fletch AE hybrid vanes. I got the iron wheel system up front, so I like to run a little bit heavier weight up front, 175 grains, so my FOC is around 17-18% like I checked. I just feel like if everything's tuning good and you're shooting good, like everything's good through paper, little higher FOC just makes sense to me. So that's what I like to rock as long as everything's tuned good and you got a good sharp broadhead. So that's what I like to do. So like I said, 175 up front, 25 grain iron wheel insert, 25 grain collar, and a 125 head on the front. And then I rock the 125 grain solid single bevel iron wheel fixed blades. Again, been having some good luck with them and just going to keep rocking that arrow setup. Stabilizers, I think it's an 8-inch Peace Singer stabilizer with the quick connect. Get another inch off that. And then I throw like a little sidebar here just to offset the weight of all the arrows in my quiver on the right side. But yeah, that's the bow setup. Been really liking it. And then also release. So I've been on the hinge train last couple years. I just really like rocking a hinge. When I first went down this rabbit hole a couple years ago, I was like, okay, I think, it'd be smart to, practice all year with a hinge and then maybe go to a thumb button for hunting season or something just to work that surprise shot, that pull, kind of all makes sense. after that first few weeks or maybe even a month of like getting over the stress of like using a hinge, once you get used to it, I think some guys just quit on them too soon. So that's just what I'll say there. I'm just a big fan of a hinge, so now I hunt with it and really like this one. So True Ball HBC Flex. I was down here last year looking at hinges, and the guys in the shop here down at Creek, like, they're awesome. All the techs let me use their hinges, and I was able to use a few couple $100 hinges and just try them out down here at the shop. And then, yeah, this is the one I fell on, and yeah, I like rocking this this True Ball HBC Flex hinge. So that's it, guys. Sorry about the little technical difficulties, but I think I went back and covered everything. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Feel free to comment on this video. Feel free to just shoot me a DM on Instagram. Again, I don't think you need to break the bank at all. If it's making the difference between you going elk hunting for the first time or not, thinking I need thousands and thousands of dollars and all the best gear invested in that, you don't. There's a couple items I'd say, maybe starting out, put some money in. Like I said, I like a good puffy jacket, pair of boots, decent pack. But then you can get away with a lot of other stuff. Some of those cheaper items I mentioned, like those Wrangler all-terrain pants, you just get those at Walmart. Just some other little things like that. So definitely go get a few things that you think you'll need. Go out there and have fun. And then honestly, that's where you're going to learn what you actually need and what you don't need. All these other items here, these are things I've just accumulated over time. I like to get, maybe one bigger, nicer piece of gear every year. So this year was that Sitka Dew Point jacket. So I got a good lightweight rain gear set up. But that's it, guys. Again, I just want to say good luck to everybody. Make sure the content you're consuming is catering to your hunt. So if you're going on a late season Montana cow elk hunt in like late November, maybe this isn't the setup for you, and that's okay. Just go explore some other guys' pack dumps for that style hunt. Maybe a few things would work for you there, but probably get, warmer bags, some bigger clothes, and different shelter and things like that. But just want to throw that in there too. Again, really appreciate all the support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. At the time that this drops, I will be on the mountain hunting mule deer. So again, absolutely reach out if you have any questions on any of this stuff. I might not get back to you for a few days. I mean, hopefully I'm going on a stalk or something like that, but I will get back to everybody that reaches out, and, reach out anytime if you have any questions. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That's it. Thanks again, Creek Archery, for letting me set up here. Go check these guys out down here at the shop. They'll get you set up, everything you need. And let's all have a great September. So it's here. Let's get after it. And let's have a great week. Let's work as hard as we can. Let's leave no doubt. And let's run the rack. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you and catch you on the next one. Hey, if you liked that episode, please share it with a friend. Share it on your story. And give the podcast a rating and a review on wherever you listen. For more of this type of content, you can head over to the YouTube channel and follow along on all the social platforms. Really appreciate it. See you on the mountain.